This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Throughout the nation and around the globe, from his heart to yours, it's Dear James Live on the radio, here on the Contact Talk Radio Network, bringing you intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dear James Live. Express yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. Today, we are going to be continuing the Power Of series with the power of meditation. And before we jump into that, I want to let everyone know, as usual, I am taking your calls live throughout the hour. It will be free intuitive readings if you're one of the first-time callers, and you'll get a follow-up and so forth. So the phone lines are open. I do have my first caller standing by, so hold in there with me. But the phone lines are open. It's 877-230-3062. And just a little bit of information for you. The Dear James advice column, I just want to tell you all up front, you can find it as a recurring advice column at the goodmenproject.com, wellness.com, intentblog.com, and myria.com. So very excited to have the Dear James advice column. If you have a question, if you're too shy to call in live during the live shows, so go to dearjames.com and click on Ask. And submit your question there, and I will, as I get to them, I will publish them and put them out and answer your questions that way as well. So it's always interesting to hear what the universe has to say. And as I always say, have the courage to call in live. So today we are going to continue the Power Of series with the power of meditation. And before I go to my first caller, I just wanted to say something about meditation. Because there's all these misnomers and there's all these things about I don't do it right, or it takes too much time. I mean, there's a myriad of reasons to not meditate, if you will. And we kind of go through life, and if you've been listening and following the show, you know that this is a big transition time. This is now, we're in the age of Aquarius. It's the age of the feminine. There's going to be a lot of this balancing where the feminine energies, whether you are masculine or feminine in this incarnation, we are of both. And so there's a beautiful reminder here in the power of meditation to get in touch with yourself, to switch from leading with your personality or your identity to leading with your soul. And when you think about leading with your soul is in perfect harmony and in perfect balance. And so the power of meditation is about placing you in a space or a state of receptivity. It's listening. There's a beautiful, beautiful expression. And it says, when you pray to God or to Source, you're talking. But when you meditate, you're listening. And the power of meditation is all about the power of listening, the power of receptivity. So that's what we're going to be talking about throughout the hour. But as you know, if you've probably been listening and following along, I never like to leave people waiting on the phone line when they've called in. So I want to go to my first caller, Amber from Denver. Hello, Amber.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My call.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I am doing great. Thanks.
Yay. That's so good. I like your voice already. I like your voice. You got a good feeling. You've got a good feeling. So, well, what's happening?
So I am in a really crazy time of transition. I've been out of work for almost a year now, and so I am just worried, really consumed with worry that I'm not going to find anything, that I'm not going to be able to take care of my kiddos and all that fun stuff. So I am just at a loss. And I love that you were talking about meditation because I'm really trying to get more in touch with my spiritual side.
And that's exactly, I mean, when you really talk about the power of meditation and, because what I was hearing right up front, and I knew you were going to say that it was a year, that was just funny. So I knew that you were when you said I've been out of work, and I was like, for a year. and there's this beautiful thing, because right now what's happening is you're leading with your identity, your personality. And of course that's our natural default mode, because it's, I know how to take care of me, or I have to take care of me. It's about the do. Now, one thing that I'm hearing, Amber, is that you have before I tell you that, I want to say to you, it's not the state that you're feeling, the energies that you're feeling are about these big transitions, you've got to show up, because the universe is saying, we've done it our way, meaning they're saying to us, to every human being that's walking the planet, they're like, you've done it your way. Now it's time for you to do it our way. There's this big shift, and that means receptivity, listening, even when, we don't like the answer, or the answer scares us, because then we think, oh, no, that can't be the right answer, or the right move, or the right thing, because I know, and, I'm out there and I'm pounding the pavement, and I'm, but we get all into our head, you see. So when you spend more time worrying, like, you stay in that state, and that's talking, that's in the mind. They want you to move into, and they're saying to me that you already know. I love the universe, because they're like, she already knows what she's supposed to be doing, and she's just not doing it. They're like, they're making me laugh, because they're like, it's so sweet that she called in. They're like, she knows, she's just been stubborn and not wanting to do it. So when you were speaking right at the top of the hour, I heard that you have a big move on the horizon. Are you not wanting to move? Are you feeling like, because I feel like you're supposed to literally move, like. Yeah,
like I can move out, yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to move. You're supposed to move along. You're supposed to, the word, big move, it's an expression, but the word move, you're meant to relocate. You're meant to move. You're meant to move your energy. You're meant to move out of your surroundings. Like, you have been boxed in. Mm-hmm. And instead of expanding and, expressing yourself, you're contracting yourself. You're pulling in it's like the walls are falling in on you. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's how you've been feeling, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, everything's diminishing, and as opposed to expanding. And what they're saying is, yes, this big move, and it's both literal and figurative. It's about you shifting into, your real place, your real empowerment, your real purpose. And you're okay. You got it. It's express yourself. Tell it like it is, right?
Right.
They're like, she's trying to take the easy way out. Is that ringing true to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're like, they're like, Amber, and don't take this the wrong way, but they're like, Amber. Up to this point, Amber, not that you don't work hard or you're not doing what you're supposed to do, but they're like, Amber likes what they're calling easy lane. And this move, this big coming out, this big really coming forward and coming out is scary. It's intimidating, and it's going to take energy and all of this good stuff. And you're kind of like, yeah, if you could just give me this job over here, and I could just and I could... And if you would, and and we could, and they're like, yeah, we've exhausted those arrangements.
Oh.
You made a promise, is what they're telling me. You made a promise. That I want to hear this, but that you made a promise, and what I'm getting was that this was a promise to yourself, that you would always be far more. And in a beautiful way, not for others. This was about you saying to yourself, I'll always be far more than what anyone ever expected of me.
Definitely.
And thereby, they're saying to you, you made us, i.e. yourself, you made us that promise, and now it's time to cash in. You don't get to hide anymore. Oh, Amber, I'm so glad you called in.
Oh, me too.
So really what they're saying, Amber, is you've got to take the leap. You've got to take the plunge. You've got to have the faith that you've always had in yourself. I know that there's people around you that may have been, they're kind of showing me bowling pins and things like that where, some pins have been knocked down and that makes you a little bit nervous. Can I do this? Can I be everything? And, in your particular instance, because you are, Amber, because you are who you are, they're saying yes. And, you're not walking alone. You're walking with them. So if this is about a return to faith and trust and self, and the beauty in that because of the meditation is the more that because they're as I said earlier, you know what you're supposed to do. You've just been resisting. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So they're saying, get it packed up, get moving, get going. Because even though you don't necessarily have confirmation of what's on the other side, you know what's not working where you are. And you won't know the beauty of where you've arrived until you make the journey and you get there. And I guarantee you, even though it might be a little scary and all that good stuff along the way, at some point within the next year, you're going to kind of be sitting there pinching yourself saying, what did I wait so long for? Because that's really what you promised yourself. This isn't about others providing for you. It's about what you already chose as a soul. So you're already golden because you chose it. It's why you said to yourself, I'm always going to be more than what others expected. I'm always going to stand a little taller. I'm always going to, because it's just something innate in you. And I think it's what comes across in your voice. There's a beautiful joy in your voice. There's they always play songs in my head that, that can't touch this, that song.
Yeah.
That's what they're playing in my head for you. So what I would love for you to do, and you obviously, we're going to do a private 30-minute consultation after the show. We'll reach out after the show and set that up. But what I'd love for you to do in between now and then is really just find the space and the time to sit with yourself so that you can go into a receptive mode, a listening mode with Source and just feel what's coming. Let it come to you, and not the chatter in your head that, that's where you've been, but that knowingness that comes from, kind of the center of your soul, your sternum and everything, and that feeling, and start listening, and then marry that with willful action. Take the little steps. Wallace D. Wattles, his great expression of do small acts in great ways. And that is such a powerful thing because it might be, okay, look in the paper, or, okay, I need to make this phone call or call that friend, or, those are small acts in great ways because they lead you where you're going to go. But you already know where you're going. So you just have to get busy. You already know.
Okay.
All right. So we'll talk about a lot more of this, and more of your questions and things like that, and specifics and everything when we do our private consultation. But really start connecting, lead with your soul, Amber. It will never lead you astray. It's only our personalities that kind of deviate us or hold us or, trip us up. And you got to kind of start surrendering that so that you lead with your soul. And that is the beauty and the power of meditation, is that it connects you to that space or that place where you can really hear it, where you can receive it. And then you just have to trust and say, okay, you know what? I know this to be true. I may not be able to see everything on the other side, but I know this feels right. and this other stuff just isn't working. It's like I'm swimming upriver and I'm getting exhausted and depleted. But when you flow with it, you just get green lights. It all just goes boom, 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 and it happens for you. So, faith. You're a very, very strong woman. You have a good soul and a very strong woman. So, I want you to, if you do nothing else today, I want you to smile it out all day long, okay?
Got it.
You smile it out and you say, I'm going that away. All right.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. I'll be in touch after the show.
Okay.
Thank you, Amber. So you're listening to Dear James Live, Express Yourself. We're talking about the power of meditation. And there is a beautiful, beautiful example of place yourself in a receptive state and listen to how the universe is guiding you, and then take willful steps to move yourself forward. It's about faith. It's about faith of self. It's about surrender. And it's about willful action, that trust, that surrender, and that willful action. And those combined, the information comes from the power of meditation. You're listening to Dear James Live, Express Yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. The power of meditation. Will be right back after this station break.
The desire to be more consciously enlightened is innate. Do you feel there's more to life? If so, find the resource that's right for you by going to DearJames.com/resources. You are the reality you create. Make it a great one. When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they seek to communicate with you to provide the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. From serious to silly, monumental to mundane, there's nothing the universe can't cover. Maybe the insight you receive is exactly the affirmation you were looking for. Then again, it may just give you a whole new perspective on things. And that's the beauty of the universe. Submit your question to Dear James at DearJames.com and click Ask.
The gift of giving is immeasurable. Give of your time, talent, resources, and money. Give not only because you can, but because by doing so, it is already coming back to you. As a people, we are only as strong as the least among us. Together, we harness the power of the collective whole and see through our deeds the power of miracles, both large and small. Find the charity that's right for you by visiting www.dearjames.com and click on Charitable Giving. One person or kind act really does make the difference.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear James Live. Express Yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. We are taking your calls live. The phone lines are open. It is 877-230-3062. As I always say, have the courage to call in live. Don't wait till the last minute, because then we can't tell you what the universe has to say. And I do have my second caller holding, and I will go to her in just 1 second. But another thing that I wanted to talk about quickly about the power of meditation is, again, this point that it's an opening. It's an opportunity to reconnect from your soul to source. That's what we're talking about, this soul-source connection. And when you're in this opening, this opportunity to be in this meditative state, you're in this receptive state of being. And there are so many benefits to meditation, daily meditation. And And, you can do as simple as a 2 or 3 minute meditation, upwards of, an hour meditation or longer. You don't, so in essence, there are varying levels and entries and so forth. But truly meditation is about calming and centering yourself and clearing the chatter in your mind and allowing yourself to feel the answers, feel your soul source connection. It's not about having, these, some transcendental kind of experiences. I mean, sometimes that will happen. It doesn't happen every single time. And so the reason I say this to you is to not become discouraged in meditation or feel like you're not doing it right, because that's one of the biggest things that we always hear is, well, I've been meditating or I try to meditate, but I don't think I'm doing it right. And the beautiful Buddhist monk Pema Chödrön, at a talk, she said, I've been meditating for 30 plus years and I still don't know if I'm doing it right. And the beauty of realizing that here is a woman that literally walks the talk, if you will, and from a Buddhist place and a meditation place does this, daily and multiple times per day and for 30 years and says, and has the grace and the humility to say, I still don't know if I'm doing it right. The beauty of that expression is for you all to listen and say, there is no right or wrong with meditation. It's the point of placing yourself in a receptive state, a place of stillness, a place of calm. And there are, there's mind benefits, there's health benefits, there's creative benefits. There's so many benefits that come to you from the state of meditation, from the act of doing it and participating and making time for it. So that is one of the great powers of meditation, is receptivity, soul source connection. So let me go to my next caller, Elizabeth from Dallas. Hello, Elizabeth.
James, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I am very well.
I'm calling in because you read for me last summer, and I can't tell you how helpful you were. I was having a lot of issues having to do with fear of lack and not having enough money to survive in the world, and you put me on the right track, so I have to thank you for that.
Oh, yay. Good. The universe is applauding. Well, what's happening? Thank you for that.
I'm calling trying to get a checkup of how I'm doing in terms of that.
Well, right off the bat, I am hearing you're actually doing quite well. So they want you, what I'm hearing is you're doing quite well. They want you to practice more and more and more trust. That's the word they're giving me for you. So in essence, you have really, they're saying to me, you've really moved mountains. And thereby, so in your progress is what I'm hearing. In your progress and everything, you have moved mountains. But they're also wanting you to, it's like keep the faith. Some things take longer, is what they're saying to me. So certain things take longer than what we wanted. And so they're saying to you, keep the faith, keep walking, keep materializing is the word. And in order to materialize, we have to trust.
Yes.
Now, if I'm recalling right, because it's all kind of coming back to me, you had moved into a beautiful place that you loved, and that it was...
You're absolutely right.
There we go. Okay, so that's you, and that you were also... it was at a point where you were going to be... I had said to you, get in place and position and everything before you... because you do empathic work and so forth.
Yes.
Correct? Right. Okay. So in that you're moving mountains and you're literally aligning. They're saying keep the faith, keep the trust, because that's where we can get tripped up there.
Yes.
If there are because there are some bigger things. What they're saying to me is there are some what they're calling big ticket items that you've been wanting to manifest, which and they've been, they haven't been as forthcoming. They haven't arrived yet, and thereby that can shake your, your faith or your trust or your foundation. And they're saying,
no, I won't let.
Right?
I will not let.
Yeah, they're saying don't give up before the party starts.
Okay.
And because interestingly enough, too, energy-wise, the first 3 months, the first quarter, and I would say January, February were really, and especially the way I looked at this was January was kind of a little bit of this holdover because there were a lot of astrological things happening. And, so there was a retrograde, there was I forget, there was like 2 other monumental things that happened. And so I was feeling, for me personally, I was feeling that January was a little bit of this holdover. But then I came to realize that it was the break they were trying to give us, or the rest that they were trying to give us. And then February, it was a little bit lingering like that. And then we came into March. And what they said for me, for everybody was March was manic March. And I don't know about you, Elizabeth, but things were very not bad, but manic, like go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of movement, a lot of energy moving. And now we're coming into abundant April is what they call it. Okay. So this was what I was hearing. And when you get to we made it May, then you're going to have this sense of, oh, things are really humming. Things are really clicking now.
Great.
And that is going to set you up. So definitely do not, don't stop before the party starts.
No, you helped me so much because I just didn't see how I was hindering myself. And you opened my eyes to that, and it changed my outlook. And I'm so grateful.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm very, very happy to hear that. Well, that you called in, Elizabeth, but, and for everyone listening, this is the willful action. When the universe talks, and here's Elizabeth, you listen, but then you also took the willful act of seeing it and making the changes for yourself that bring about greater openness and opportunity. Mm-hmm. And if you had not done that, we'd be talking about a whole different, set of circumstances here. So
I want to ask you, I'm told that I should go online and offer my readings on the internet. Do you see that as a good idea?
Well, it's interesting because are you currently affiliated with, do you go to a place? Because I'm feeling like there's a place or there's somebody around you that I want you to be mindful of. So do you go to a physical location right now?
Yes, I go only once a month. Next month I'll be starting going twice a month to, it's like an expo or a fair that I work doing readings.
Okay. So at that particular event, and just be mindful of who approaches you, what they might be offering, and really feel it. So that because sometimes, there can be the people of, the people that take instead of give. Okay. And so I just want you to be, and not that, in the readings per se, but in people that might see you or see your spirit in the way, your presence, and might want to, for lack of better words, capitalize on that. And so you don't want to give away.
Are you telling me not to let myself be exploited?
That's exactly what I am saying.
Okay. Exactly I just want to make sure that I understand. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying to you. Is because sometimes people come in the cloak of, oh, look, I'm going to offer you this. And doesn't it all look, beautiful and shiny, only to realize that they are, exploiting you or taking advantage. And so be mindful of that. Because again, I get very much that, so to answer your question, I get very much that you will have, you will create your own party, and you will have the ability to reach more people. And so stay very mindful about who, it's the old expression, who you hitch your wagon to. Okay. You want to be mindful of who you're hitching your wagon to, so that, again, you're drawing yourself expansion and abundance, not depravity, where someone's taking from you. Okay. Because that can come, they can both show up looking the same, but it's going to be up to you to discern, oh, you're saying this, but you really mean that. But over here, I could do this. So, and I would say to you, yes, there's ways that you can do very inexpensively, you can get a web presence going.
Okay.
And even if it's just a couple of, one or two or three tabs that just kind of says who you are and what you offer and an ability to pay, and then be able to, do you have a Facebook page, Elizabeth?
No, I don't do any kind of social media.
Okay. Well, that's another, an interesting way of interacting and gaining a base, and that's free. I mean, it's your time, but it's literally free. That doesn't cost you, anything. So look in those terms of what other ways you can expand your presence that, that will help you. It doesn't have to become, this main focal point of what you're doing, but it can be just the soft, the support underneath that kind of expands you and everything. And I just want to see if they've got anything. You're going to have some really great opportunities coming up. Running, it's now April 1st. So, running from now kind of through the fall is going to be an expansion time for you. So take advantage of it. Even if it seems like little things, the little things add up.
Okay.
So, definitely do that and trust yourself, because you're very, you're on the right track and you're doing really, really well. They're giving you major applause upstairs.
Now, one more question quickly.
Yes.
Do you feel that I lost the love of my life 13 years ago, and I want to know if love is coming back?
It's
I haven't been open to it in the past, but I'm open to it now.
And the funny thing, there's a theme. I sent two of my colleagues, I sent them this beautiful song that a new artist, Harrison Craig, re-recorded, and it was Love is in the Air. You remember the beautiful song, Love is in the Air?
Yes.
And funny enough, I'm now seeing this as a campaign. It's very funny. And so on multiple levels, again, talking about the power of meditation, the power of, the age of Aquarius, the rise of the feminine energy, it's love. So love is in the air is a very broad theme that's playing out for everyone. And so for you, you've just articulated it, which is before I wasn't ready. I wasn't open to it, but now I am. And again, beauty of the universe, they wouldn't want you to have met somebody before, because you would have drawn that resonance of person of where you were. You were more closed down and restricted and everything. Now you're this whole other person and being. It's like you're really blossoming into this place of abundance and, change, of real prosperity, if you will, because that resonates inside. So that will then, the more you open, the more you solidify, the more you trust, then you will draw that person to you. So I do, again, same thing, because this all ties together. It's about watch for the wolf in the sheep's clothing.
Okay.
So that you're always mindful of, because what it really comes down to, Elizabeth, is the trust in yourself to know that you're not coming from a place of lack anymore. You're not coming from a place of need. I'm enough.
Yeah.
And that which comes to me then isn't meant to fulfill me. It's meant to be the icing on the cake. It's meant to be the cherry on top. It's meant to be in addition to. And that way you can watch, because, again, sometimes the universe will send people to make sure that you aren't falling back into old beliefs or patterns, and so you've got to be able to discern and say, you may look like this, but I think you're really this. And if I get that feeling, if I get that feeling in my sternum or my pit of my stomach that says, even if you really look the part and all that stuff, but if it tells me that it's this, I've got to trust that and go the other direction.
Oh, I'll certainly do that. And once again, I have to thank you so much for being a wonderful blessing in my life, James.
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored and humbled, and thank you, Elizabeth, very much. And I love that you called in and did an update. I love that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a blessed day.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we're listening and we're listening to the universe, and we're talking about the power of meditation and then the power of receptivity. And you can see that in both of these cases with Amber and Elizabeth, the beauty of marrying that listening, that receptivity with willful action. And when we do that, even if they're small acts in great ways, they move us forward. They move us to a place of expansion, ascension, all of these beautiful acts and gifts that when we lead with our identity or our personality, that doesn't always happen. We get in our way and we trip ourselves up. So as we come back, again, the phone lines are open, 877-230-3062. We're going to go to a quick station break, and we'll be back after this message.
Available for private, individual, group, and corporate consultations, Dear James will provide you with the intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. Schedule your consultation by going to www.DearJames.com and click on Consultation. The gift of giving is immeasurable. Give of your time, talent, resources, and money. Give not only because you can, but because by doing so, it is already coming back to you. As a people, we are only as strong as the least among us. Together, we harness the power of the collective whole and see through our deeds the power of miracles, both large and small. Find the charity that's right for you by visiting www.DearJames.com and click on Charitable Giving. One person or kind act really does make the difference.
When you ask a question, the universe hears you, and in a multitude of ways, they communicate to you the intuitive insight, answers, and advice you seek. Ask Dear James a question and experience the magic of the universe. Visit DearJames.com and click Ask.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear James Live. Express yourself, tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. Today, it is all about the power of meditation, and as we had with the first two callers, Amber and Elizabeth, the beauty of listening, the beauty of trusting, the beauty of that soul-to-source connection, and the expansion and ascension that comes with leading with your soul. And in the power of meditation, some of the things that, what types of meditation are there? There's so many different things, and really it's about the power of it. It's about the power of meditation. And when we look at whether or not you can be in concentration, like a concentration meditation, a reflective meditation, a mindfulness meditation, a heart-centered meditation, there are a myriad of different types of meditations, different types of ways to meditate. And the point and the purpose, though, is this place of calm. And so I would implore everyone, whether you're just starting out or whether you haven't yet taken the plunge, it's to be open, to be relaxed, and to start meditating. I found my own story with meditation was I didn't do it beforehand often and everything. And a few years back, I started dabbling with it, and then I went to a private weekend retreat. And this woman, and if you're on DearJames.com and you go under the tools, you'll hear the meditations that were offered graciously by Lynn Vermillion Smith. And I said to her, one of the things that I would remember most was her voice, the sound of her voice, the calmness. And Lynn's meditations for me are really beautiful in the sense that some of them are guided meditations where she's speaking and guiding you along on a meditation, on a journey to where you open yourself up to see what's happening and what's taking place and what you're feeling. And the others then are, of course, purely for yourself, if you will, that they're kind of solo meditations. But in each of them, the point and the beauty that I found was that the more and more that I did meditate, the more I heard, the more, and again, not the chatter in your mind. That's a very different signal. If you think about an old school radio where you're, changing the dial, when you're in your head, that's a lot of static. But when you're in your heart center, when you're listening, when you're just in that calm state, and the movie or the feelings start to express themselves, the movie starts to play, the feelings start to come forward, that's when you really start getting this insight, this soul source connection that I've been talking about. And people will talk about, well, if I meditate, can I meditate sitting down? Can I meditate laying down? Can I, yes, yes, and yes. The point about meditation is to find the perfect fit for you. So if lying down when you meditate places you in a receptive state, not one where you fall asleep, but one where you can glean the information. For me personally, I need to be sitting upright, and that holds me then with my back up against something or firm so that it holds me more in that receptive state, because there are times where in my meditations, I can even kind of bob forward, not like you're falling asleep, but you bob forward like you're gaining so much information and everything that it kind of somewhat becomes heavy, but in a beautiful way. So that's for me, this place. I also prefer meditations with music. I find that if you're listening to the right type of meditation music, or, there's what they call binaural beats. And binaural beats, it's a scientific study of particular sound technology and so forth that places you into your alpha, beta states and everything, so that you induce into a meditative state faster. And so I prefer those types of meditations. The point being, there are so many different types of meditation and that can serve different purposes, that it's for you to kind of pick and choose at the buffet until you find the ones that really place you into that relaxed, receptive state. It's all about permission. It's about permission to test the waters and to feel it and just eliminate. And if there's one thing you walk away with from the power of meditation today, is eliminate the I'm not doing it right, or that there's some correct way that you're not achieving. That's just eliminate that. And once you eliminate that internally and you start giving yourself that permission, then you start seeing that the movie does play, or the feeling will come to you. And perhaps in the beginning it's slow, or it might be, intermittent. It's like when you're in your car and you're listening to Sirius XM or something like that, and all of a sudden the signal goes, the satellite signal goes, and then it comes back in and you get a clear signal. So beautiful moments in how you go about listening. Now my sister, this was something that was really great for me, because I'm a more right-brained, she's more left-brained. And we were talking about, she started doing meditations and we were talking about it, and she said, I'm frustrated because I'm not seeing things when I'm in meditation, like they say that you will. And so I started walking through her with the fact of, well, what is it that you're seeing? And she said, nothing. It's just blank. It's this blank black screen. And so I wasn't understanding. I wasn't following with her. And so I said, okay, wait a minute. Let me just do this for a second. And so I closed my eyes like I was sitting in a meditative state. And of course, when you close your eyes and you sit quietly, what you see is a blank black screen. And I said, oh, so are you expecting things to show up on this blank black screen when in front of your eyes when they're closed? And she goes, well, yes, isn't that where it's supposed to happen? And so there was this awareness for me, and it was a beautiful awareness of taking it too literally, that what you're really, so there's, because you're trying to do it right. Her intention was that I wanted to meditate properly. And she was really trying hard. And then she understood, oh, wait a minute. Because I then said to her, I said, well, okay, visualize an apple. And she said, okay. And I said, now, do you see that it's this luscious green apple and it's, and you've cut a slice out of it, a wedge out of it. Now tell me what it looks like. And she's telling me exactly what it looks like. And I said, now, where do you see that apple? Where do you see this expression of what we've just talked about? And she said, well, it's kind of up in my head, like I'm seeing it up and towards the front. And I said, exactly. That's where you're going to see or feel you're going to see your meditative images and so forth. They don't come directly horizontal in front of you. They come from on high. It's that same place of what we would call where your imagination comes from. It's your creative receptive. It's right there. And once she was like, oh, then it changed for her and she relaxed into, oh, okay, it's not that I'm doing it wrong because the screen is blank. It's I just need to let go of that and see that what does come through is coming from that higher place, that creative, receptive place. So beautiful, beautiful things about meditation. Some of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, the definition of mindfulness. And mindfulness is the intentional, accepting, and non-judgmental focus of one's attention on the emotions, thoughts, and sensations occurring in the present moment, which can be trained by meditational practices. Meditation is about being mindful. It's not about all the stuff and the gunk and the goo that's going on in your head and the clogging everything up, because that's leading with the personality. Mindfulness, meditation is mindfulness. It's that intentional releasing of all of that and that kind of calm focus, that calm acceptance, that non-judgmental, because many times you'll get a flash of something in a meditation or a feeling of something, and your first instinct is to judge it. And I would say to you, don't judge it. Don't judge. Let the movie play. If you see a flash of something, try to hone in on that flash. If your mind gets busy, if it's chattering too much, then come to a focal point of either a mantra, saying something, or an om, something that holds your focus, because you're really training your brain to relax, to let the ego relax, to let your personality, your ego mind relax, so that your mindfulness can come forward. Because so often we lead with our personalities, we lead with our ego, and a healthy ego is great. But a healthy ego will also know that when we're in the receptive state, it needs to be quiet. And we need to train ourselves, we need to train our brain and our ego mind to say, here's my beautiful partner. You receive, and then I'll act and follow. That's the kind of synergy that takes place. But right now, if we don't have that balance, if we don't have that beautiful masculine-feminine balance, that yin-yang, that receptive, active balance, then we're out of balance. And, there's the beauty of karma, because karma is about balance. So if we lead with the personality and we make errors or, aggressions or transgressions against others, it's because we weren't being mindful. We weren't being centered and aware with ourselves. And that we all know where that leads. We all know where that gets us. So in that, I want to give you some fascinating facts about meditation. This was a wonderful article written by Riddhi Shah. It appeared on the HuffPost Healthy Living. And some of the interesting things were about the fact that meditation can prevent heart disease, reduce stress, significantly lessen ADHD. And so think about that for the number of children that are on ADHD medications and so forth. And if we just started as the adults and the caregivers and the providers of that, if we started giving more interaction to being in a meditative state with our children and interacting, we would have, again, different experiences. And our children would start to learn how to diffuse some of these behavioral issues that they're encountering and they're dealing with. to be in balance, to be more mindful. So we've covered durations of meditations. We've covered, the how to meditate. There's just a myriad of them, the number of them, and the benefits. There are so many benefits to it, and to not be literal about it. I want to also talk to you quickly just about the sounds that can go with the 7 chakras. And you start at the base chakra, and you work through them. You're working up through the chakras. And a beautiful 3-minute, Lynn does a beautiful 3-minute meditation that's about working through the chakras, and you can do it. It's a 2-minute, 3-minute meditation, and it's just starting with a sound of Lam. You start with the first chakra, Lam. You move to the second one, Ram. To the third, Vam. You move to the heart chakra, Yam. To the throat chakra, Hum. To the third eye chakra, the Ksham. And of course, the crown chakra, Om. And you can literally just come into an ah, and then to that chakra. So, Ram. You just work up them. Lam, Ram, Vam, Yam, Hum, Kasham, Om. And if you work through those, and you can do that can be 3 minutes, you can do it for 30 minutes. The beauty is that it's centering and rebalancing your chakras. It's another beautiful meditation. And no matter which one you choose, no matter which one you do it with an open heart, do it on a regular basis. Start your day off with a meditation. Get up a little bit earlier and sit in that still place and choose a meditation that you love, that works with you, or choose a few of them and rotate through them. Listen to to your soul source connection about which meditation is going to work for you. Which one do you need that day? And watch then how your mood, your balance, your energy changes, and how your synergy, or people will look at you and say, wow, why are you so calm? Or what's happening with you? Well, it's the power of meditation. It's the power of connecting, of making time to connect with that place from which you came. Because we get bombarded. We're bombarded every minute of every day. And if we make time for meditation, we walk through our days with mindfulness, with clarity, with purpose, with this calm confidence. It just resets everything. And if you're having a stressful moment, there's that 2-3 minute meditation that you can sit in the car and just work through that, and it resets you. And then you go back into the office, or you go back, to what you were doing, or you go back to, being mom and dad with the kids, or with the spouse or the boyfriend or the girlfriend or whatever it might be. But you can reset your center. And that's a priceless gift, that the universe wants us to lead with. So be mindful that we are now in abundant April. So things are going to start opening up. It's going to be, we made it May. And then we'll come into Jupiter June. So with that, go back and look at the Power Of series, these foundational life elements, and the power of permission, gratitude, forgiveness, intention, surrender, prayer, enthusiasm. There are so many in the Power Of series. Implement them and reap the benefits. I thank you all so much for calling in. It's always a pleasure and a joy to take your calls and hear what the universe has to say. You've been listening to Dear James Live. Express yourself. Tell it like it is, and then hear what Dear James has to say. The power of meditation. We'll be back next week, and as I always leave you with, no matter where you are, or whom you're with, or what you're doing, wrap yourself in goodness.
You've been listening to Dear James Live on the radio with your host, Dear James. Gain intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions, and so much more by tuning in next week and visiting DearJames.com.